Hi guys, welcome to the eLearner. In today's video, we are going to learn about the multiprogramming operating system. So let's get started. Multiprogramming operating system. Because of the mismatch between the speed of the slow I/O devices and CPU, many of the resources of computer remain underutilized. Because CPU have to wait a lot for the slow I/O devices for finish its job. So it became a very tedious task to wait a lot for these I/O devices. And because of this, CPU will remain underutilized. Okay, so multiprogramming is basically refers to a concept by which we are keeping several programs in the main memory and executing them concurrently by the CPU. So this is our the main memory, in which the first section of the main memory is for operating system and next other sections are for the programs. There are different types of programs that are reside in the main memory at the same time, and we are executing all of these programs simultaneously, concurrently, one by one. Okay, so how these programs are running in computers simultaneously, let's see this. Okay, this is our main secondary storage disk that we call hard disk. This is basically nothing but a hard disk. Okay, and this is basically our main memory. This is what we call, this is what is main memory. Okay, so supervisor means operating system. The one section of the main memory is for operating system and the remaining section is for the programs. So in that particular time there are several programs in the main memory and they all are run concurrently. How? Program A is writing output data, is doing an I/O operation, input output operation is done by the program A. It is writing an output data in the hard disk. And program B is now using the CPU, is in running state. Program B in its running state because it is actually going to use the CPU at that particular instance of time. Now program C is waiting for the CPU because CPU is allocated to program B. So program C is waiting for the free of the CPU. When the CPU is free, I use the CPU. So in that particular concept, CPU is never became idle because when some program is waiting for the IO operation, there's another program in the main memory which want the CPU for its allocation. So in that particular scenario, we are actually utilize the CPU properly. So in that particular scenario of the main memory, the program inside the main memory will either go into these three of the state. Whether the program in ready state, the program is in ready state when it is ready for the execution and it wants CPU for its execution. Like program C is in ready state, it's complete all its IO operation and now waiting for the CPU. That's why program C is in ready state. Now running state. Running state is basically the state of the program in which it allocates the CPU and it's running. Okay, so program B is actually in the running state. Now block state. Block state is actually the state in which some program is not using a CPU, not waiting for a CPU. It actually writing an IO operation or it actually doing an IO operation. That's why this program A is in block state. Okay, this is basically the idea of multiprogramming. Now, how multiprogramming is going to reduce the problems that are in the serial and batch processing. Let's see all of them. CPU switches from one program to another program almost instantaneously. Since the operating speed of CPU is much faster than that of the IO devices, so CPU can allocate time to several devices. You can see here the operating speed of the IO devices are very slow as compared to CPU. So CPU can perform job fast rate and then switch to another program and then perform fast and then switch to another program. In that particular way, CPU can utilize its all efforts properly. So CPU will never going to in ideal states. So advantages of multiprogramming are increased throughput. First of all, let's know what's the throughput is. Throughput is basically the measure of total amount of processing that a computer system can do in a fixed period of time. It means how many number of process a computer is going to perform or execute in per unit second. मतलब कि एक यूनिट सेकंड में उसने कितनी प्रोसेसेस परफॉर्म किए हैं, कितना वर्क किया है, वो थ्रूपुट होता है. अगर वो कम इतने टाइम में लिमिटेड फिक्स टाइम में ज्यादा प्रोसेस करेगा तो उसका थ्रूपुट ज्यादा होगा, ज्यादा एफिशिएंट होगा. कम करेगा थ्रूपुट कम एंड कम एफिशिएंट होगा. So in multi-programming system, there are several programs that reside in the main memory. So obviously throughput will be more. The more amount of processes will be executed concurrently and simultaneously. So throughput is always increasing in multi-programming system. The next thing is shorter response time. Response time, I tell you, is the time between time of submission of a job and time it gets the first response of the computer system or CPU. So response time is actually short in that multi-programming system, which is very a good thing because CPU have to switch from one job to another because it's so that job can get response in few seconds. That's why it's shorter response time. Now ability to assign the priority of job. When multi-programming system there are multiple jobs, each job have priority. And in multi-programming system, actually the job run in a way than priority basis. Each job have assigned a particular priority and system can be able to assign a priority to the job. So this is also one of the advantages of multi-programming system. Now, fourth but not the least is the greater number of program that primary storage can hold. It means that main memory can hold many of the program in that particular space. So degree of efficiency and performance can also increases. Okay. So these four are the advantages of multi-programming system. Now what are the requirement that a multi-programming system want to execute, to perform its execution? The first requirement is large main memory. As there are many programs that reside in the main memory, many programs that reside in the main memory. And for that purpose, main memory should be large enough to accommodate all of the programs. Okay, so this is the first requirement that main memory should be large enough. Next, memory protection. Memory protection mechanism is that there should be a protection mechanism inside the main memory because as there are several programs that store inside the main memory. So there should be a protection mechanism that one program should not interfere with the another program. It means that कोई एक प्रोग्राम दूसरे प्रोग्राम के साथ ओवरलैप ना हो जाए, इंटरफेयर ना करे, उसका एग्जीक्यूशन या उसकी वर्किंग या उसका कंटेंट डिस्ट्रॉय ना कर दे. तो इसलिए हमारे पास एक मेमोरी प्रोटेक्शन मैकेनिज्म होना चाहिए मल्टी प्रोग्रामिंग सिस्टम में सो दैट प्रोग्राम्स एंड प्रोसेसेस आर separated from each other. They know their boundary and they know their limit and they not overlap with the another process and program. So then the third requirement is proper job mixing. Proper job mixing means there are some jobs which are CPU bound, then some are IO bound. So in multi-programming system, there should be proper mixing of the job. It doesn't mean that in multi-program system, there are many jobs who want IO operation and no job wants CPU. That is not basically the thing. There are proper mixing of job. If some want CPU for execution, there are many who wants IO for his execution, means proper job mixing. Okay, the next one is program status preservation. What is program status preservation? See, when this first program is running and there's another program who also wants CPU for its execution and the first program complete its execution, now CPU now switch from one program to the another. So in that particular scenario, CPU have first saved the context of the previous program and then switch to the next program. बिकॉज ऐसा इसलिए क्योंकि जैसे सीपीयू ने एक पर्टिकुलर प्रोग्राम का एग्जीक्यूशन किया, कंप्लीट किया, ठीक है, उसके बाद फिर वो नेक्स्ट प्रोग्राम का एग्जीक्यूशन स्टार्ट करने गया, पर वो स्टार्ट करने से पहले उसको प्रीवियसली एग्जीक्यूटिंग प्रोग्राम का जो स्टेटस है उसे सेव करना पड़ेगा ताकि जब वो वापस उस प्रोग्राम पे आए तो उसे पता चले हाँ मैंने इतना एग्जीक्यूट कर दिया था, इफ देयर इज रिमेनिंग तो अब मुझे यहाँ से एग्जीक्यूट करना है. ऐसा नहीं जब वो वापस उस प्रोग्राम पे आए तो वो दोबारा से स्टार्टिंग से एग्जीक्यूट करने लग जाए. ठीक है, दिस इज बेसिकली द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ प्रोग्राम स्टेटस प्रिजर्वेशन, दैट वी हैव टू सेव द स्टेटस ऑफ द प्रोग्राम so that when the CPU come again, it start its execution from the resuming part. Okay, next is CPU scheduling. When there are multiple programs in the main memory, then the one job is also that which program will get the CPU. Okay, which program will waiting for CPU, which will get the IO devices. These basically CPU scheduling is also there in the multi-programming system. Okay, so this is actually the overview and the basics of multi-programming system. In by knowing all of this thing, you can easily identify that multiprogramming system serve very advantages and very feature of a system to be more reliable, more efficient, and more powerful than that of serial processing and batch processing system, where only a single job can run in a memory. But in multiprogramming, there are several jobs can run in a memory in a concurrent and simultaneous manner. So multiprogramming is more efficient than that of serial and batch processing. So this is all for the multiprogramming system. Next, we are going to cover the multiprocessing system. Okay. So till then, you can take care of yourself. And if you like the video, please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe button, and please follow and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.